You're gay. Hello and welcome back, Ravers. It is season 3, episode 15 of Gay Rave. I am the Gabby L, and I am so happy that we're back. If you are watching on YouTube, you can see that I am looking like G Flip today. I feel like I'm in my butch era. Every time I think I'm feeling butch, I'm always just like wearing a hat or wearing long pants. And it really is so special to me. So, welcome back. It's been a very exciting week. I can't wait to get into this news. You'll notice my apartment is no longer decrepit. So, I'm excited about that. Finally, just finished putting everything together now. Happy Labor Day, by the way. Hope everyone had a nice Monday off. And if you didn't, I'm so sorry. That really sucks. So, let me tell you about how it's been going the first week in the new apartment. We've had some highs and lows, I will say. Also, happy September. If you can even believe it, it's already September. It is my birth month, people. Get excited. Okay. So far this week, I have lost 2 vacuums. So I bought a vacuum, a Dyson V8. I was so excited about it on Amazon. So I bought it and then it arrived. I didn't open it because then I saw the price went down by like $50. So I bought it again on Amazon. I was going to return the first one so I could save the $50, right? Because I was trying to be economical. And I realized that, with typical Amazon orders, you can bring them back to like a local site or like a Whole Foods. But for a vacuum that was like hundreds of dollars, they didn't let you do that. So the options were like, bring it to a USPS, in which case you would need a printer to print the label to put back on, and then the other option was bring it to an Amazon warehouse, which is either like in Bronx or in Long Island City, which is also quite far away. So I'm like, oh, if I had known, I probably would have just eaten the $50. But okay, I had already ordered the second one. Right now I'm out about approximately $800 at this point. Okay, so the second vacuum is on its way. I go to bring the first vacuum back. I go to the UPS store and I need to print the label. I'm like, hey, can I print the label? And they're like, it's going to be $3 to print the label. I'm like, okay, fine. I'm here. I carried this box here. Fine. Print the label. And I didn't bring tape to tape the label on the box. They're like, you're going to have to buy tape. So now I'm out $10 just trying to save $50 for whatever reason. So finally get the old one shipped out. I get the delivered notification on my new vacuum cleaner that was supposed to be here and it's nowhere to be found. I said, that's quite odd. So I go in the Amazon app to where the vacuum might be, and it's at my old apartment, which is how you say so far away. It's crazy. So after volunteering on Sunday, I go to check. It's not there. I said, okay. This Amazon person did not like take a photo. You know how they usually take photos of where they leave it. So I couldn't see where it was. They just said they left it in the mailroom. So I was like, okay, here's my ticket. This is how I'm going to say. I don't know what happened with it, whether they were trying to move it to the new address, whether it got stolen. I have absolutely no idea. So now I need to get a refund and order a third vacuum so that way I can finally vacuum this fucking apartment. So that is me telling you that it is never worth it. If you think that you're going to save $50, you're not. You're actually not. You're barely going to save 40 and you're going to have no vacuums to show for it. All right? So just don't waste your time. It's $50. Everyone will live. Moving on. Monday night, I want to say second night in the apartment. This place is still an absolute wreckage at that point. Like I'm still stepping over things. Like I don't know where the light switches are, that kind of thing. I record the podcast. I, watch basketball. I go to bed at a regular hour, like 10:30. So I'm laying in my bed on TikTok, barely making a peep. And then around 10:40 p.m., I hear banging at my door. No sounds, no people screaming, no nothing, just a bunch of banging. And so I am petrified. I'm horrified. I'm scared. And to that I say, what do I do? So I start texting people like, okay, I hear this banging. I don't know what to do. And just hope that someone's awake. They bang a couple times over the next couple of minutes, but once again, no voices or anything. If it was an emergency, I feel that someone would have said, like, get out of the building's on fire, or something like that. I would have heard commotion, but there was nothing. Okay. So then I wait for it to sort of dissipate. I get up out of bed and I put on the outfit I wore that day, which you'll actually see in the YouTube video from last week. It's just like jeans and a white top. So it's right next to my bed. I just had taken them off. So I put those back on. I'm in my jeans again and I walk over to the door very, very quietly so I can look out my little door hole and see if anyone's there. No one's there. I said, okay, fine. I go back into my room. I take off my jeans. I lay back in bed. I'm a little scared at this point. I'm texting people like, okay, that was really scary. At least I have a fire escape in this apartment. So I know it's right next to my bed. If I need to escape, I will just escape and I will run for the hills. All right. So I wait. I'm in bed. I'm on my phone, whatever. Little after 11, we hear again banging. And this time I hear two male voices. One of them is like, open up, it's the cops. And then the other one says something like, Carter, are you there? Something like that. So at this point, I think I've come to the conclusion that they're not trying to kill me, I guess. Maybe they just have the wrong apartment, or their friend moved out, or they're on the wrong floor. I don't know. So I slowly start to put my jeans back on because this time I'm like, I'm gonna, at least through the door, be like, you have the wrong apartment. We're trying to sleep. I thought about maybe playing some like loud barking sounds on YouTube. Now that I don't have YouTube ads, like now that I pay for YouTube Premium, it's actually really clutch. Like imagine if I was trying to play like an alarm system or loud dog barking sounds and then like a fucking ad for Wegovy comes up. Like I'm trying to save my own life and all they hear is this ad come up. That's not scaring anyone. Okay. So I put on my jeans, etc. I make my way to the door and I look through the people. They're gone. Okay. So now I'm like, now that I don't feel as threatened, I'm just going to wait here at the door for them to come back. And then I'm going to give them a piece of my mind. Like, I want to get them what they look like. Like, I want to know what they look like. And I want to say, like, leave me the fuck alone. Okay. So I'm waiting at the door, minutes go by. I'm texting people like, okay, I'm going to wait them out, whatever. Also, I was texting my group chat like, is anyone awake? When they knocked the second time, I asked, should I get up and say something? And my group chats were like, I actually don't know. You gay people have zero survival skills. Like none of us have survival skills, okay? So I'm waiting at the door and I decide to wait. I was like, okay, I'm going to wait until midnight. And if no one comes till midnight, then I'll go back to sleep. And that's exactly what I did. I stood in my jeans at my door for approximately 40 minutes and they never came back. And then I attempted to go to sleep after that. So that was the second night. And then, so this on top of the two vacuum situation, just really tough. I think it was that night I bought a coffee table on TikTok because they said it came fully assembled. So we'll see if that ever shows up or if I just sold my data to the Chinese government. I have no idea, but it seemed legitimate. I know that this seems really lazy, but after all the things I've had to build and all the boxes I've had to like take up and down these two flights of stairs, I was like, this coffee table seems nice, and all I have to do is put the legs on to assemble it. I will do anything for convenience. All right. It is 2 days to get here. And then I'm in Italy. And then it's just going to be goodbye forever. It's going to be like the vacuums, the fate of the second vacuum. Okay. Last week, as I mentioned, was quite busy. I saw Lady Gaga, our queen, my first time ever seeing Lady Gaga. I can't believe it. I've been a fan for truly so long. And it was amazing. I went by myself and little pregame. Happy birthday to Raver. Rachel. Hi, Rachel. Happy birthday. And so it was incredible. She did Abracadabra into Judas. That was life changing. I bought two tall boy beers at MSG just like for myself for the duration of the concert. $40. And I was a little drunk going into it. So like I tried to buy the hat off of the head of the guy who was selling them to me because he like bedazzled a gay Knicks hat. And I was like, really bartering with him. I was going up 50, $100. And this is after the $800 vacuum debacle. Like I was really not having any sense about me. I had lost all of it. I was on the heels of the door knocking. I was on the heels of being in my jeans until midnight. And I was just trying to get that hat off of his head. It was a really cool hat. Okay. So went to the show, had a great time, sat next to a couple of like, they couldn't be older than 12, some like young girls. They were really, really sweet. And they didn't know some of like the original songs like Love Game and like just dance. I was like, this is crazy. But me and their mom were kind of vibing. We were definitely vibing. Something I did find interesting about the Gaga show is that she kept the original lyrics to Born This Way. We've talked about this discourse in the past about how Born This Way has some problematic lyrics. Those two ones specifically where she says Chola descent and when she says Lebanese and Orient. Really, really questionable. And there have been new versions that have come out. Like the Orville Peck version has completely new words in those places, and it's very, very non cancelable. So I did find it shocking that she kept the original lyrics. And that's all I'll say about that. So, leaving the Gaga concert after I had my two tall boys, I was high on life. I was not ready to go home, naturally. So I happened to get some Gaga merch, which I'm wearing one of them right now. That's why I'm feeling like a little sexy butch. And I ran into some folks, Rachel from Fire Island, you'll recognize, and then other softball friends, Erica and Megan. And we went to this piano bar down the street. We were so excited. We're like, oh, it's like piano karaoke. It's right by MSG. This is going to be great. So we go in, you like have to Venmo the person for a song. Of course, I'm instantly like sending money to see what I can do. And so I wanted to do Confessions by Usher. All right. People were doing usual like classics, some like Broadway hits and things like that. It was a small group. Listen, we're probably only 11:30, maybe 11ish at this point. And so I go up to the mic, he calls me up and he's like, "I've never heard this song. I need to look it up." And I was like, "You've never heard Confessions by Usher? Did you see the Super Bowl 2 years ago?" I mean, like, I was genuinely a little bit concerned. Like, I mean, this guy had to be at least 20 years old, and he had a career as a pianist. I found that quite shocking. So he's like holding up his iPhone to his ear, trying to catch the melody. And while I am on this iPad attached to a microphone, trying to look up the words, I believe in my head and in my heart that I know them, but I've never done this on a piano. I've never done this raw before, okay, without a full set, without a full track behind me. So of course, um, he starts. I lose where I am in the song. I'm trying to hold the iPad. I like break the iPad off of the mic stand. We only do, I think, 2/3 or honestly maybe half the song correctly. The crowd is vibing when we're doing the chorus, but the other parts, I'm just like really it really didn't go great for me. And I know I was roasting my friends about their performance at live band karaoke and how bad it was. But if anyone had gotten this on tape, it would have been a hard watch as well. Probably not as hard as theirs, but pretty close. It was a really tough moment for me. Okay. So that was my Gaga night. Saw Mamma Mia 2. It was worse than I remembered. Mamma Mia 1, Supremacy, just in time for my last Liberty game of the season before the postseason, where we lost, of course. And then I just watched all of Overcompensating while building my dresser. Overcompensating, which I will say I really did enjoy, with Benito Skinner. And Charlie has actually a quite large part in it. And the guy from White Lotus season 2, the young boy who falls in love with the escort, let's call her. um, so yeah, I really love the show. It really snuck up on me too. And I do think that the redeeming quality of it is not like, the fact that he sort of has to figure out his whole like life as a gay person as he go to college, which I thought was quite, you know, interesting storyline, but it's the like flawed friendship piece, which I'm like very relatable. I'm loving it. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really funny, especially the last couple episodes where the mom got a job at the mall and she has all these dogs and she named them after Maroon 5 songs. That was so good. It really was. Okay. In straight news, we have two pieces of straight news today from Blondes. One, I have to mention it. Taylor Swift got engaged to Travis Kelce. Moving on, Sabrina Carpenter came out with a music video for her song Tears and has Coleman Domingo in it in drag, which is kind of a slay. They do a little bit of dancing. You should definitely watch it. Shout out Coleman Domingo, incredible gay. Also, since we have been known to do our Pope watch in the past, and we do have Pope Leo now from Chicago, I'm sure nobody's forgotten. He did have a meeting last week with one of the advocates in the LGBTQ community, and they left that meeting, said they felt very, very hopeful, and that Pope Leo was going to continue Pope Francis's legacy to support the LGBTQ community, and that all were welcome in the church, including those people, and that they believe he'll stay in line with the precedent set by Pope Francis. And we are so happy about that. Pope Francis supremacy. He lives on in all of our hearts. I will also be going to the Vatican when I'm in Italy just so that I can honor his legacy. Okay. And that's not even because I'm religious or anything. It's just because I'm kind of a stan now. I'm moving into Pope Francis standum. Last but not least, I did watch the Love Island reunion. It was Andy Cohen and Ariana Madix. It was, I would say, not the most thrilling watch for me personally. But the biggest thing I got out of it was that, like, Amaya and the press tour that they've been doing around it, she is such a good egg. She's just a funny little, quirky little person. So she's from New York. She did this video, her and I think four other people who have been doing like the media circuit, doing a lot of press, like Q&As to like hype up the reunion that was coming up. So there's this one video that her and her castmates did for GQ, and it's one of those like we're going undercover to address people's comments on different websites. And some of the shit Amaya was saying like really has me questioning if she's really a nurse. It's like pretty shocking. In this GQ video, there was someone who asked, is no one on the show afraid of getting mono? And Amaya's reading this question and she said, is no one on this show afraid of getting mono? What is mono? I'm like, girl, 2021 Long Island University graduation nursing. You know what I'm saying? Like, please know what mono is. Please. It's like she's a cardiac nurse. Please, Lord. Okay. And in the other part, they were like, who's on your Love Island Mount Rushmore? And she was like, Mount Rushmore? What is that? Like, I know that that's more of like an American history, maybe geography type of situation, but probably something that I don't know. I might want my nurse to know that. I don't know. I don't want to say that you can't be multidimensional, but I will say that mono is something a nurse should know. It does have me a little curious. But Amaya, do your thing, girl. Get that doctorate. Maybe they teach that in the second part of schooling. Okay, go off. Moving into rave reviews, we've had a few internet wins this week, which I think are quite funny. We're going to talk about them. The first is Cardi B in court. Cardi B is in court this week defending herself because she's being accused or sued by someone who's saying that she assaulted them in 2018. In 2018, outside of her OB's office, there was a security guard or someone who was taking a video of her leaving her OB's office. And they said that Cardi assaulted them when she saw that they were videoing her. And Cardi, the defense was sort of like, she was 4 months pregnant. No one knew that she was pregnant in the public eye. And so when she saw this person videoing her, she told them to stop. And then the person claims that she was assaulted. Okay. So this whole thing is Cardi coming into court multiple different days in multiple wigs. They were like, which one's your real hair? She's like, sir, they are all wigs. What are you talking about? And they were like, how did this woman threaten you? Cardi was like, look at her. I am a small woman. I was pregnant. She was going to beat my ass. She was like, this girl is built like security. She's security heavy. And then the court's like, how would you describe security heavy? Cardi's like, I wasn't calling her fat. I was calling her a bitch. She really is. She is such an icon. And Cardi B, this was in my for research for my rave and grave reviews. I like look at gay news, and this was on it. It was like bisexual Cardi B stuns in court. And so that's why we talk about it on Gay Rave, because I am not erasing this Cardi B bisexuality. I will do anything to get her on here. Okay. Second internet win was the Crumble Cookies man being outed on TikTok. So the Crumble founder came out as gay after he was bullied by a twink on TikTok. This boy, who's a part of like the comedy duo, a twink and a redhead, went on TikTok and said like, this is a gay man if I've ever seen one. Like, this is crazy. And so days later, the Crumble cookie owner who was a Mormon, right? Crumble is like notoriously Mormon. He came out as gay and said, I come from a religion where it's really difficult and people have been telling my story, but I'm going to tell it myself, that kind of thing, right? So he did come out. The twink did say, like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that, but like, you'll be fine. You're rich. Happy for you. Okay. This News host, though, he he was all up in arms, like, it's never okay to out someone, yada yada. And they did a newscaster reading of the original TikTok that they're claiming was the one that outed him. It got like 19 million views or something. And so the dramatic reading was like, there's a genetic component to sexuality, mama, and let's just say he has the gene and there's no denying evolution, babe. Oh my god, that's a gay man. That's a gay man, and I'll say it to his face. There's no denying it. Holy shit. I don't care if I'm outing the CEO with millions of dollars. I don't give a fuck, but that's a gay man. And that is my dramatic reading in a newscaster voice of the TikTok that outed the Crumble Cookie CEO. So those are my rave reviews. And listen, I'm sorry to that man if you really were outed, but you are going to be okay. I fear your white gay ass is going to be fine. People are still going to buy your cookies. And although I did have an amazing cookie from Culture Coffee this weekend, would recommend it. I got a black and white, which was essentially just a cookies and cream and a regular chocolate chip. Oh my God, you cannot beat a good cookie. Okay, moving on. Brave reviews. I'm back with another L for the LGBTQ community. Okay. Betty who's an Australian musician and a bisexual, by the way, and I think non-binary, now that I've been doing some research, was on a podcast this week. The podcast is called Made It Out, and it's by this like sort of later in life lesbian, and I think their partners on it sometimes too. And so Betty, who is in this interview, who's also married to a man ever since like 2020. They've been together since 2017. They've been married since 2020. This is a well-known thing that happened. And on this interview, she said some things that were like, fine. Like, everyone dresses like a lesbian now, so you don't know who's gay anymore. You like, culturally, women don't want to be uncomfortable, so they start dressing gayer. And so I'm like, once again, it's like being on this podcast. That's not gonna cancel you, but tacked onto other things, like, yes, maybe it would add insult to injury. Okay, that one's fine. So the interviewer asked and said, now that we know that there are two fellow pop singers, Fletcher and JoJo Sia, who came under speculation earlier this year. They both announced romantic relationships with men while still identifying as queer. And Betty Who had some things to say about that. Betty Who said, it shouldn't be illegal for you to fall in love. Like, now we've come so far, our community is so strong that now it's like a crime to be straight. Honestly, it's like, I do love that we've come full circle. Punishing people for being hetero feels sort of correct. No, just kidding. And then she goes on to say, Renee Rapp, who said she never wants to be with a man again in her life, if 10 years from now she changes her mind and she says, oops, I met the love of my life and it's a man, I didn't mean to, like, that's okay. I'll hold space for her. And everyone online is sort of like rolling their eyes, like, you're gonna hold space for somebody like a bisexual who's with a man? Like, okay, sure. And so people, of course, the LGBTQs are all analyzing this, and Betty Who did put out an apology saying that she was projecting some of her feelings and that she'll try to do better in the future, but essentially her feeling victimized by the community not resonating with her or not, you know, accepting the fact that she is with a man is really difficult for her. And I think somebody really summed it up well. They said, there are white bisexual women who seem to always be fighting to be seen as valid as queer, whose pain around being queer is largely about the fear of losing community among queer people when they're with a man. When they do date a man, they're uncomfortable with the amount of privilege they gain because they still want to be aligned with being in this marginalized group. Get it? That really sucks. But bisexuality is really complex, and it is probably more difficult to have to explain yourself or justify or feel disconnected when you are exercising the bisexuality part. And I know it might feel easier to fall into one camp or the other, but I think this is where we're losing the plot in comparing the plight of people. And when you use language like it's a crime to be straight. I think that's actually so insensitive given all of the shit that is happening to people in the LGBTQ community right now and the rights that we stand to lose at this point. So I do think it's a little like read the room, baby. Like, all right, we might just all have to be a little bit uncomfortable. And if you are a cis person who is bisexual and married to a man, just going to ask that you probably platform the issues of people who might need the time and attention right now. And that's all I'll say on that. Moving right along. In another crime against humanity, another grave review, Snoop Dogg said some homophobic things about fucking Lightyear. Okay. He said, I'm scared to go to the movies after seeing the movie Lightyear because there was a gay couple in the movie, and like I think it was like two moms raising a family and a gay couple. He said, he went to the movies with his grandson and he got questions from him. So Snoop Dogg said, these are kids. We have to show that at this age. And I'm like, you're scared to go to the movies, brother. Aren't you actually in the Crips? Like, aren't you in a gang? I don't get why you're afraid to go to the movies so that your grandson can see a gay couple. Now you have to explain that. What age would be good to explain it to them, Snoop? Oh my God, why? And he also came out with this fucking apology. He's like, I need people to teach me, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, do we really? Like, do we need to teach you, or is just common sense probably good? I don't think you need, 2020 vision to see that the point is it's okay to just say there were two moms instead of a mom and a dad. You know? That's just Gab's take. I know it could be hot, but I hope you can accept that today. Moving right along, my Can I Say Something for this week is The Summer I Turned Pretty discourse. So, The Summer I Turned Pretty, the Amazon series based on the books by Jenny Han. It's on its third and final season, and it's about this young girl, Isabel, aka Belly, and there are these two brothers, Conrad and Jeremiah. And Belly, was first in love with Conrad, the older brother. They dated for a period, they broke up, and then she was later with Jeremiah for several years, like all through college, and now was planning to marry Jeremiah, but feelings for Conrad are coming into the picture. Okay, that's the long and short of it. Okay. And I have these hilarious YouTubers. I'll put them in the show notes so that way you can watch them too. Inside Out with Jamie and Jordan and Netflix Party, obviously. Okay. And this show is like really giving teen rom com realness boots. Okay. And the cast of Summer I Turned Pretty went to a Liberty game recently. So they're extra shining in my eyes. And I hate to say it, but like it is bringing up, you know, is it incestual to be with these like two brothers, to be with this one brother and then to be with his brother later? Is that something that we should be worried about? There are so many other people in this world. My only point is that there are so many other people. Why are you going to go and mess around with someone's brother? And I did start a fight with someone recently, and I genuinely don't remember who it was. If it was you, name yourself. But if twins marry twins, I know it's not like technically incest, but it feels like it to me. If I had a twin and I married someone who had a twin, and then my twin married my partner's twin, that feels so iffy, gene pool wise, And that does happen. This person, whoever they are, unnamed, was telling me a story where this happened. And I was like, isn't that classic haha and I know it's not incest, but it definitely feels like it. And not that the show is incestual by nature, but there are so many other fucking people in this world. There is just no reason why you would be pigeonholed into making that decision. I don't care if they are the hottest, greatest person on this planet. There has got to be somebody else, doll. Like, just let the first person have that win, and then you can go off and do your other thing. If I was the first twin to be married and then my twin was going off and doing some crazy shit with the other twin, I'd be like, that begs the question. It makes me feel weird. How do you feel about my twin, about my partner? So you think my partner's hot? You're being a weirdo. and they think I'm hot because we're twins. That's weird. Moving on. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for this week is to me and to all the people who didn't pay for the New York Times game subscription up to this week. They put the fucking mini crossword behind a paywall. So I already lost the spelling bee. I lost the regular crossword. They let you do a couple of words and then they say, oops, you're at your limit. You need to hit the paywall. You need to hit checkout. Give me your card money, please. Okay. And so finally they've taken the mini, one of my daily routines. And let me tell you, I do in this order. Tell me your order, okay? Wordle, mini, strands, pips, connections, all three Sudokus, okay? In that order. The order is important to me, all right? And so I have like a almost 400-day streak going with the mini, as with most of the games, okay? And so when it hit the paywall, I was like, I need to make a decision here. Am I willing to forego my streak to tell New York Times to go fuck itself? Am I willing to do that? Probably not. Okay. And you know what's really pissing me off? And my real I'm sorry to all of those people out there and everyone in this world in general is that like every fucking single thing requires me to enter my information and signed up, and it costs a fucking monthly fee. Can we get one business that's not on the subscription model, please? I have to pay for fucking Nintendo every month so I can visit Ginger's Island in fucking Animal Crossing. Life used to be simple. You could do a puzzle for free. You could download apps on your device without your device being like, actually, stop. You can't do this. But if you pay us $5 a month, you can. Suddenly, your phone will find ways that you can download apps if you just pay us, please. Money, please. Like, how the fuck? Just give it to me. I paid $1,000 for this fucking phone, and now you're just telling me that I can't use all of it unless I give you $5 a month. Fucking Google Cloud storage. You know how many monthly fees? I swear to God, whoever invented the subscription model, I am coming for you, bitch. I am coming for you. And I hope that karma finds you. I really do. I hope that you never find peace. I hope that people are banging on your door 10:45, 11, midnight, just because the subscription model is possible and it's the best and most convenient, stable way to make money. Doesn't mean that we should have to do it. Okay. This is another way in which the world is going to shit. Okay. Moving on. Songs of the week. well, when we were young, the Benson Boone cover of Adele's song, the online version, that is going triple platinum in my household. I have listened to that so many times. Benson Boone, I was not familiar with your game. I was not familiar with you doing the Adele vocals in the original key to When We Were Young, but game respects game. All right. Okay. The actual songs of the week are probably Jealous Type by Doja Cat, the single, preparing for her next album, which comes out the Friday after my birthday. Thank you. Thank you, Amala. And then Green Light by Lorde. Ever since I saw John Proctor as a villain, I can't stop listening to it. I went to get food on Friday at Gyros Tacos with Katie and Spraker, and I was walking home a couple blocks. It was like the chill of late August in the evening, and it was breezy, and I put on Green Light, and I was strutting boots. I was working the runway. I was working the sidewalk as if it was, like, it's that part of every like movie or TV show where someone is like, experiencing a feeling and like trying to show you that they're like just breaking free. That's exactly what I was giving. Okay, moving on. So that's all we have for this week. I am so excited. The next time I'm recording this podcast, I'm going to be in Italia with Ginge and Virginia. And so we will be taking this on the road. Only a couple more episodes left in the season. I think I do 18 episodes in a season. So only 3 more episodes until we take another little break. But thank you so much for listening. You are an absolute doll. I've missed you so much, and I can't wait for next week. This has been Gay Rave, and I'm the Gabby L, and the L is for, say it with me, love you. Bye.
That's what she said. And you know what? What was that? Okay, James.